JMaxicus here with a TLDR on Return to Dominaria Episode 2. Now, last we left, Liliana had discovered that her brother Josu was turned into a lich by Belzenlock and was commanding his undead forces over the Cabal in the Benalia region, namely the Caligo Morass, which used to be a forest but is now a swamp, thanks to the Cabal. Liliana is very steamed about Belzenlock using Josu against her, and after healing Gideon and letting him rest, she has been in search for the Raven Man. Now, the Raven Man has shown up in many instances of Liliana's life, including but not limited to showing her the medicine to help Josu when he was first poisoned by her father's enemies. He seemed to also orchestrate the discovery of the Chain Veil on Chandalar, and took over the Chain Veil to save her from being eaten by a worm on Amonkhet. She thought at first he was maybe a figment of her imagination or a curse on her mind, but because he was also seen by Jace in her mind, she suspects that he is a planeswalker who is following her around for purposes unclear and shrouded in mystery. Liliana finds a flock of ravens who descend and outwalk the Raven Man from the flock. She even at this point suspects that he could be an Elder Dragon in human form, but really has no idea. She confronts the Raven Man in a very frustrating conversation. She asks him if he was responsible for Josu being raised by Belzenlock. He says, "You already know the answers to these questions, Lily." She knows it is because of the Raven Man. She tells him to undo it, and he says, "It can't be done." Then she asks him what he wants from her, and he doesn't reply. She asks why he follows her, why he tricked her into making Josu undead. Once again he replies with, "You know why." Man, this is frustrating. Liliana replies by saying, "You are trying to ignite my spark? Why make me into a planeswalker?" Then he pisses off, and it's almost like the early episodes of Lost, where all we get are questions and no real answers about the Raven Man. Liliana begins to think to herself about how Belzenlock raised Josu and turned him into a lich. She was trying to deduce a way to help her brother. She realized that Belzenlock used Josu so that Liliana will have to use the Chain Veil on him. After using the Chain Veil, she'd be too weak to use it on Belzenlock and not be able to destroy him with it. Like the black mana mage we all know, she decides, no problem, I'll do exactly as he has planned for me to do, and then I'll find a new way to kill him. She makes her way back to the village by Vess and sees Gideon up and at him. Here we see the two interact, and it is clear as day that Liliana can't read Gideon, who is an enemy color in white. She thinks he is going to be mad at her and take off when he finds out that Josu is her brother and that she needs to lay him to rest with the Chain Veil. However, after telling Gideon most of the truth, he agrees with her and tells her it will be good to get rid of the commander of the Cabal forces so that the Benalish can regroup and force the Cabal off of Erona. Liliana tells Gideon that in order to unmake Josu, she needs him at Vest Manor, and Gideon tells her he knows exactly what to do. So while Gideon and Liliana head out in the morass, he tells her about how they will rally all the remaining Benalish forces at Vest Manor as a staging ground. They go to an ancient ruin where they meet a worn down angel named Rael, battle angel and protector of Caligo. Rael is down because of her failing to stop the Cabal, but Gideon lifts her up and saying, "You lost the battle, it doesn't mean you failed." Rael gains a little hope and optimism when Gideon tells her that Liliana is a powerful mage, and they know of a way to lay the commander of the armies to rest. Rael and Gideon then look out for the Benalish knights, soldiers, and avian scouts that are scattered all over the place, while Liliana prepares her spell against Josu. In preparation for the incoming Cabal forces, Gideon tried to devise a plan to get the Cabal forces to follow him to the Vest Manor. He finds out there are two types of creatures the Lich is using to overpower the Benalish forces: Skin Witches and an undead remnant named a Dreadshade. Now, Skin Witches are what they sound like. They peel the skin off of their victims and then wear it while they're still alive with necromantic magic of some sort. Now, Dreadshades can change size to really large to really small and are able to crawl inside a corpse and animate it, kind of like a puppet. An Aven scout appears and tells them he sees a Dreadshade, but no Skin Witches. Gideon then asks a Telerian mage in the ranks named Corrin if he could cast an illusion spell on Gideon, making him appear as a Skin Witch to a Dreadshade. Gideon then equips himself with a triple-bladed Cabal spear to use against the Shade and has the illusion put on himself. He makes his way to the Cabal army and finds the Shade at the head of it, leading the way. Gideon acts like a skin witch, flailing his arms around, and sees his friend from the irregulars, except they were undead. He's taken back a bit, but figures it must be a dementia spell of some sort, and continues on, lunging his spear into the Shade's open chest. Gideon runs away, and the Shade chases him, and Gideon runs into 3 skin witches. One of them he decapitates, the other the Shade ingests in his chest, and the last one Gideon guts, protecting himself with his eternal Aegis. If you don't know what that is, it's basically a shield that makes him invulnerable. In this case, invulnerable to poisonous clouds. Gideon feels the illusion break and wonders if the mage is incapacitated in some way and charges the Shade. As the battle rages on, Liliana calls out to Josu, who responds to her, and they both head inside the manor. Josu tells Liliana how she had changed him, and telling her that she did this to him. She tried to reason with him, but realized it was useless. In this form he was in, she had to undo him first. She then uses the chain veil and wipes out Josu, as well as the top portion of the Vest Manor, turning it into a pile of rubble. She fell down, completely drained from using the chain veil, as the price for using it is all of their strength and takes a serious toll on her body. She sees her brother Josu's corpse. Josu then begins to tell her that she is the curse of House Vest, and the curse will not end while she lives. He tells her after she left, Josu stayed as an animated corpse and killed their father while he was trying to lay him to rest. Their mother looked for Liliana with her sisters and for a cure for Josu, and died trying. All their family was dead because of Liliana, and then Josu was gone. Liliana was in disbelief that Josu was undead and animated for all these years, and Gideon and the Banalish heard all of it. Gideon tries to comfort Liliana, and she just straightens herself up, focuses her resolve on being a curse for Belzenlock. So there you have it. Episode 2 was jam-packed with action, and we get a little bit of resolve in Liliana's origins as her brother and her family's fates are finally made known to us. What'd you think of this episode? Did you like the first episode better? How are you liking the storytelling of Martha Wells? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and share button. This is Jay Maxicus, and stay tuned for some more TLDR.